All right, guys. Good evening. Good to be with you. It looks like got a good bunch in here already. Welcome. Welcome to the Hurley Investments Trade Findings and Adjustments of March 16th. I'm Keith Bybee, taking over for Kevin, who is out of town. Just to make sure there's some more folks gradually coming in. Give everybody just a minute. You guys that are here and ladies, would you let me know if you hear me all right? Loud and clear. Too loud or just right? All right. Perfect. So let's get started. Good to be with you guys this evening. I still have up here, I think what I talked about on February 2nd was the last time I was with you, which seems like forever ago, but also yesterday at the same time. Weird how that works. We were talking about GME, GameStop going up. Kind of fun. I liked what I said here. It's a case of musical chairs to get out of the stock with a profit before you get stuck with a losing position. Did I not say that those hedge funds have billions of dollars to pull from other positions and continue to short GME? I think I said that. And dang it if I was right, and dang it if it didn't just continue to come back up to ridiculous levels again. It just makes me kind of giggle. Some of the just messed up, screwed up, weird things that happen in the stock market, and always interesting at the same time. So Costco, I had talked a little bit about possibly adding some leap calls to some leap call positions I already had. For positions I already had, I was able to dollar cost average. Let's just look at Costco real quick. Dollar cost averaged after their earnings somewhere around this neck of the woods. I don't think I caught the exact bottom, but doubled up on contracts there, and for heaven's sakes, look how low it is. 327 today. 350 is what I would have, or I believe I talked about as a support level, and just fell through that pre-earnings and kept going down, which is kind of crazy. Looking out longer term, this is a great buying opportunity in my opinion. Costco's great. I would look at maybe like a 350 at some time, in the next few weeks. Why would I not be looking at it tomorrow? For any of you that want to take a swing at a question, why wouldn't I be looking at trades on Wednesday, tomorrow? And why am I not going to suggest specifically a trade tonight? Sorry to ruin and burst the bubble so early in the webinar, but we do have some things to talk about. But what do you guys think? What is coming up? Bingo. Abraham, FOMC. 10 points for Abraham. We have an FOMC meeting tomorrow. Just want the dots, not the arrows. FOMC meeting tomorrow. I wouldn't expect rates to go up as Jay Powell, or as we like to call in the meme stock realm, Mr. Jay Pow, Jay Pow Wow. Okay, Keith, stop being such a dork. He's mentioned several times they're going to be looking at holding pat and being very slow to raising rates. So I wouldn't think anything is really going to change yet. I would think, as Kevin had gone over yesterday, more towards the end of the summer, depending on how things recover in the economy, would be where we would be looking for the Fed to look to raise rates possibly. They said they're going to be patient with the inflation. Seeing gas up as much as it has kind of makes me wonder how patient they're going to be. But as far as tomorrow, I'll say I'd expect Jay Powell to hold pat on I keep wanting to say inflation, but on rates. But what happens beforehand at, what is it, 12 o'clock Eastern is when they come out with their announcements, and Jay Powell answers all the talking heads questions. And before that point, it's just ridiculous market. In fact, looking at some of the things today, not as much of a pullback in the S&P, although it was flat most of the day and ended a little negative. Things like Boeing, Ford had a bit of a red day, and simply just chalked it up to the rate decision tomorrow and people taking some profits where they thought they could. So especially the morning, just nothing to look at that will matter until after the announcement. And we get another, nope, we're holding pat on rates. Markets will take it easy and probably continue to go up. So for now, maybe Thursday we might talk more about some thoughts on new trades. But for tonight, wanted to go over Boeing a little bit and just answer any questions you guys might have. Come back to Costco. I know I kind of started there and didn't finish, but Boeing, we added a position for new money coming in for us to manage of a January 23 275 long call against a 400 short call for a bull call, leap bull call position. That's an interesting one. I like how the numbers work with this. A little under half of it hedged with over $225 of potential profit, which sounds fantastic. For a total of a $30 cost basis. This is another one that goes along with a similar one we did with JP Morgan that has done fantastic. You guys will recall a similar deal with Baidu. Some newer positions we put on with the 350 and a 450 bull call on Baidu. Some with a 300 and 400. The rest of them, we were able to add some of these short call positions onto existing long call positions, which is why this 250 call was at $68 cost basis, and we brought in $75 of credit on this 450 calls. So worst case scenario, we'll make $7.54 guaranteed profit if we do nothing. So it is cool when we can actually get some leap long calls that just have gone up ridiculously fast, like this Baidu has for us the beginning of this year in this quarter, and to protect some profit there with some $200 of upward potential on the way up if it continues that way. So I really like these. They don't always work as far as if a leap call will go up or kind of sideways for a while. It doesn't always work to add a leap short call out above it or close to the money. You want to watch out for putting yourself in a position where if you get called away, you get called away for a loss between your two strikes. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But those are some newer things we've gone into. Again, don't suggest going in on something new like that tomorrow. You've got plenty of time, but it's nice to be able to show some of these new positions we're putting on. I really like these 350 calls on Costco, as I mentioned. 380s are the ones that I had through last year that we've doubled up on, lowered our cost basis as it fell for earnings. If I were looking for a new position here in the next week or two, again, these 350s a little closer, I like. Still not ridiculously expensive. $35 for a you know, a 300, what is it, 327? What did I tell you? Dollar stock. $327 stock. So a strike that's up by the 200-day, and what I would think is a big point of resistance now. That you got to think in the next 2 years could get above. So those are some things that are on my radar. I always like to check Facebook. They got caught in this range for several weeks here, and is finally breaking out. Finally out of the period where we've gotten so much down days in our NASDAQ and tech stocks. And I'm kind of looking at it thinking, man, why didn't I take advantage around 255 or 246? The reason right now is this is just kind of volatile for me. I think there's so much uncertainty on what politically happens with Facebook and the current administration, and they just kind of get hammered from both sides. And it would be nice to see some kind of not a revolution, but maybe that's what it would take, some kind of resolution on some of these tech companies and specifically social media companies, and how they deal with, you know, free speech and misinformation. Big believer in free speech, but these are also private companies that can do kind of what they want. You know, the First Amendment, as it says, protects the right of free speech, and it basically says that no Congress shall make no law restricting speech. And kind of the gray area where we're in is, this is obviously not Congress, speaking of Facebook, but can they be made to do what the more left-sided Democrat politicians want them to do if they simply threaten antitrust suits against Facebook, Twitter, and so on? They almost have this invisible hammer that they get to threaten these companies with. they kind of in my opinion, it looks like they just have to deal with that issue. But I wouldn't say, just as my opinion to you guys, I wouldn't say that it really fits the true the spirit meaning of free speech. I think people ought to be able to say what they want, even if it's the dumbest, stupidest thing, because that way we can at least know who's, you know, saying stupid things and who's not. I think as a society we get a little better as we talk about things. And if some part of society is being silenced, we either don't get the chance to talk about whether those things that they're saying are bogus or smart or right or wrong. And I think that's, as far as society is concerned, that's not a great thing. So that's kind of my thought on Facebook right now, and why it may be a missed opportunity to get in lower again as it's swung around here. But you know, at this point, I don't think that the near future is not going to hold another opportunity at some point. We'll see, I guess. Thoughts and questions. What do you guys think? That's pretty much my thoughts. I'm open to talking about anything. Any questions you guys have over specific stocks, over accounts, what can I help with? Maybe I should spell wield correctly. All right, question coming in. Any promising new stock to consider? So Abraham, Kevin and I have been discussing back and forth a little bit on some thoughts. One being the possibility of one of the airlines that is more fundamentally sound that we could look to get into as they come back online and get back to work. Trying to remember the ticker of Alaska. There it is. ALK, Alaska Airlines. So let's see. Let's go back a year and 6 months. So here they are, above where they were pre-pandemic. Yes, it would have been better to come around 35, 25, even 48. But Alaska Air is one of the more fundamental ones. They have a little better margins for what they do in their niche. Yeah, the comeback kids, exactly. This one kind of has already come back. But the thought is, as air travel comes back online, the numbers that these guys are going to have to beat are soft pitch, easy, and that could be awesome. Again, would have been better earlier, and kind of the reason you're hearing me hesitate is because of how much it's already come back. I know Mr. Warren Buffett has invested in a hell of a lot of energy stocks. Exxon, I believe, is the one. I don't know if Marathon was one of the ones that Berkshire Hathaway has invested in, but we had looked at this one a while ago and thought that maybe there's something there for Marathon. They're certainly not Exxon, but comparably speaking, there might be a better opportunity price-wise and value-wise. I don't love how I don't love the energy industry, but with the price of gas going up and whatnot, it's something we're going to have to look at and consider. Those are a few on my watch list. I'm trying to think some others off of the top of my head, but maybe Abraham, no problem. But maybe I'll think some more on that for Thursday. As you know, we're not into new stuff all the time. We're managing the ones we've been in forever. But yeah, aside from that, I love the opportunity in Boeing still, even more than these two I just mentioned. Boeing get back up to 330, 350, pretty easy, I would think, in the coming months. So I like that a little more. But yeah, come back Thursday. Maybe I'll have a few more thoughts on that. Any other questions, guys? What is Twitter's symbol? I should know this. Yep. One more question coming in. Right, I agree, Abraham. It is rotating, and I do like, I know you're looking for new, but there's still opportunity in Baidu, especially since it's pulled back so much. Maybe we'll go over that a little more on Thursday as well. But as far as world rotating and maybe some things coming back to China, even the fact that Baidu was never really hurt by the trade war, pretty interesting. All right, guys. No other questions I'm seeing coming in. Thanks for the 30 minutes to talk with you. Please come back Thursday. We'll have a lot more to talk about, I would think. And until then, have a good night.